So in honor of World War III about to start, shit's been getting crazy in this world. What would happen after a nuclear war? I know we're cooked, but regardless, we have to find out what are the ramifications and the effects of a nuclear war. So let's check it out.
Nuclear war would forever split human history into anything that happened before and the post-war apocalypse. In the worst case, mass fires consume everything within tens of thousands of square kilometers, killing hundreds of millions within hours. But the worst part comes after that. Nuclear war could trigger a nuclear winter that might kill billions, maybe even completely collapse.
Nigga, there's something worse than the fire that kills us all? The winter? Bruh. I don't know if I'm ready for World War III. I don't know if I'm ready. I didn't do nothing. Iran, Israel, I didn't do shit. I was just minding my business. It's somebody else that's involved.
Our civilization. How does it work? And what would it look like? Fire causes winter. When a nuclear weapon is detonated, a bubble of gas hotter than the sun is forced into existence, so hot that everything within kilometers immediately begins to burn. The terror bubble expands rapidly, filling the sky over its target, creating a devastating shockwave that causes most of the immediate destruction. Basically, you break a lot of stuff and set it on fire. And in the worst case, this turns into a firestorm that consumes everything and everyone on the ground. Right after the explosion, a gigantic mushroom cloud rises over the destruction like a demon throning over its perverse work. But in the following hours, a far more deadly cloud forms. The fire burning cities, forests, or fields heats up so much air that it creates its own microclimate and wind system. Hot air and
Yo, y'all niggas think this is why Elon Musk and Bill Gates and all them niggas got like secret bunkers and shit? We gotta get access to those, bro. We need access. I don't know how we gonna get there. I don't know. I mean, we could they don't got enough security to stop us from getting in one of them things. But we gotta find out the location and get there immediately. They've been planning for shit like this and we just been chilling. We going and die, bro. Like, what? Nah. I hope he got some solutions. This nigga better have some solutions around here.
Smoke rise, pulling in fresh air from the surroundings and fresh oxygen, stoking the flames even more. This creates an updraft and forms a colossal pyrocumulonimbus cloud that carries the soot and aerosols from the flames high into the stratosphere. Under normal conditions, the soot rising from a big fire is quickly washed out by rain. But a pyrocumulonimbus cloud can reach altitudes well above the height where rain clouds form. Once above the tropopause, there's simply no weather to remove soot from the atmosphere, so it can stay aloft for years. If this happens to a single city, it's a tragedy, but a fairly local one. But in a full-scale nuclear war, warring nations following the cold logic of mutually assured destruction could use hundreds or even thousands of nuclear weapons all at once, creating hundreds of firestorms, sending up to 150 million tons of soot, a cube the size of a skyscraper, directly into the stratosphere.
Yo, ask yourself why humans made so many nuclear bombs we could blow up the whole world. If some dickhead gets angry, we're cooked. I don't know why we invented this shit. I understand you gotta defend your country, but at some point we just built a bunch of bombs that could kill us all that's stupid. I don't think that we were really thinking.
In the next few days and weeks, the soot begins to blanket the Earth at high altitudes, absorbing light high above the ground and preventing sunlight from reaching the surface. This is not like science fiction where the sky turns dark and the sun disappears. Winter is what happens when just a little less sunlight hits the ground, and now suddenly a lot less sunlight gets through. Yesterday, the world was normal. Today, nuclear winter begins. Winter causes hunger. How bad nuclear winter would be is still an active area of research. It all hinges on one thing: how much stuff will burn really hot. How many firestorms will be caused by the heat of the explosions? This depends on many factors, from the materials a city is made of, to the time of the year, if a forest is nearby, and so on. So just keep in mind we're working with some assumptions. Here's the good news. Nuclear winter is not permanent, and definitely no new ice age. The effects on the climate only last as long as the soot remains in the atmosphere, which is at most a decade or so until it clears out and temperatures normalize.
Bruh said a decade or so. Like, that's enough time to get so many people out the way. It's crazy. Should be like half the population in 10 years.
Bad news is that this causes almost immediate climate change within a few weeks. It disrupts our climate system faster than any living being can adapt to. In this new climate, our seasons are suddenly all wrong. Winters are much longer, summers shorter and colder, or gone altogether. This also means less evaporation over the oceans, which means less rain and maybe large-scale droughts. This is bad because our food eats the sun. Without good summers and enough rain, growing seasons shrink or even collapse. The majority of humanity lives in an area called the mid-latitudes, a strip of land that has the ideal temperature for our species, not just because it's not too hot or cold, it's also where the plants we eat grow best. The vast majority of the food we eat stems from a few highly efficient crops that are mostly—
But we can't grow that shit inside, twin? Like, we need to grow it inside then, fine? Like, I don't know what to find at this point, but so we got some place where we could grow this shit inside. I know we can't remake the sun, but we could make something like it, shit. Humans have survived worse. Black Death, goddamn, I think there was like a volcano eruption, and it was like 3,000 people left on Earth from the video I watched. So there's hella shit that we survived. We can survive this. We can survive this, man. I don't know how many people surviving this shit. I don't know if I'm one of the chosen ones, but we definitely can survive.
Produced in a few very agriculturally productive regions like the US Great Plains or Ukraine. From these bread and rice baskets of the world, they get traded and shipped around the world. In the worst case of a full-scale nuclear war, the temperatures in the mid-latitudes will probably stay below freezing for several years. Nothing at all can grow under these conditions, and the world's bread baskets would suddenly turn empty. If food production crashes, the world's food producers would very likely ramp up prices or even stop selling food to other countries, if they're still able to farm their fields at all. It's easy.
What type of asshole would up the price on people after all the crops is gone? You're not gonna have any people left to sell to. That's the dumbest shit. If you're that greedy where it's like, I would love to make money rather than have people on Earth, you're a dickhead, bro. It makes it literally no, so you have no customers to make no more money. And you're gonna be by yourself on some I Am Legend Will Smith shit. Like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. And there's some greedy piece of shit out here who's like, yeah, the world could die as long as I make my money. Like, huh, stupid? Does that even make sense?
To calculate how many people can be alive on Earth, you take all the calories we can produce and divide them by what the average person needs to survive. If you have more people than calories, then within a few weeks, you don't anymore.
America's cooked. We are way overweight. We're fat. We're a fat ass country. We're cooked.
Humanity has only a few weeks' supply of crops and food, not enough to survive this drastic drop in production. But the climate is not the only issue. Modern industrialized agriculture is a complex affair that relies on functioning supply chains to provide unthinkable amounts of industrially produced fertilizer and chemicals to kill weeds and vermin. Massive numbers of specialized modern machinery is plowing, sowing, harvesting, and distributing. After a nuclear war, especially if the countries that produce the food were part of the nuclear exchange, there may simply be no more fuel, fertilizer, or machine parts because there are no more oil refineries, ports, and other essential infrastructure left, damaging global food production even more. Okay, so now that we've set the stage, let's look at what science says about the actual wars that could happen. Nuclear war. Today, there are two main conflicts that scientists think about when making calculations of nuclear winter: a nuclear war between India and Pakistan, and one between the US and Russia. The most likely smallish nuclear exchange—
How about Iran versus Israel? That shit might have us all cooked, baked cookies. I was just watching a video on TikTok where they bombed the goddamn city. Nah, bro. Leave America alone. We ain't do shit to y'all. And I seen them burning an American flag in some other country, like death to America type shit. Leave us alone, bro. I don't know what these politicians and all these weird ass people be doing, but I ain't do shit. I don't deserve this evil ass torturous death. This shit seems so dark.
Exchange would be fought today between India and Pakistan with relatively low yield weapons. Even in a pretty mild nuclear war like this, the immediate explosions would kill around 27 million people, which
God
is horrible
damn.
enough. In just a few hours, more people would die than in all of World War I. The ensuing fires would not cause a nuclear winter, but a mild nuclear autumn. But even this would disrupt the climate and thereby global agriculture, enough to starve up to 250 million people worldwide.
I mean, we this is fucked up. This is gonna be a fucked up thing. We still got billions and billions of people left. So, but yo, I didn't know World War I killed 20 million people. They was busting their guns. Like, whoa, 20 million is wild.
Unfortunately, India and Pakistan are in an arms race and have been increasing the number and power of warheads in their arsenal. The next stage of escalation would be war with hundreds of nuclear weapons, the bombs and fires destroying many major population centers and killing over 100 million people. A war on this scale would cause a nuclear winter that would damage global agriculture enough to cut the available calories for humanity in half. The number of people that starve to death would be as high as 2 billion.
All right. Now that shit devastating. Now that shit is devastating. That shit is devastating. 2 billion people. What the fuck? Yo, Iran and Israel, you gotta relax, man. Put the missiles down. Isn't that crazy to think, like, telling someone, yo, put the missiles down? Like, nobody listens to that shit, but yo, put the missiles down, bro. We need good agriculture. We need our calories.
1 in 4 humans alive today. The worst case scenario is a full-scale global war between NATO nations and Russia, or China, which also continues to build its nuclear arsenal. In a war between a former, future and current superpower, thousands of nuclear weapons could be detonated. In a scenario with around 4,400 nuclear weapons, 360 million people would perish right away. We have no other event to even compare the death and destruction to. It's like humanity dropping an asteroid on itself. The nuclear winter that follows such an apocalyptic war would tank human calorie production by as much as 90%. Not only would almost all of our agriculture take an immediate
Where the fuck is the 10% at? We need to find the 10% and head over there.
and deadly hit, the climate would take at least a decade to recover. Because a war like this would specifically hit the world regions that produce most of the food for humanity, recovery will be much, much harder than with other conflicts. Within 2 years, the global death toll from starvation could rise to about 5 billion. In mid-latitude countries like Russia, China, Canada, the US and much of Europe, only a few % of the population might survive.
Twin, we just gotta hope we are the 3 billion people. That's pretty much it. You gotta hope we're the 3 billion people. Because if your ass ain't, you're cooked. You are baked cookies out here. So you're gonna have to find your way and navigate through that shit. That shit sounds tough. I'm going wherever Elon Musk and them niggas built the bunkers.
Humanity will never be the same again. While nowhere is truly safe, some nations in the Southern Hemisphere may fare well enough to endure while the rest of the world collapses. All the nuclear weapon states are in the Northern Hemisphere, so a few countries like Australia, New Zealand and Argentina may be able to endure for a bunch of different reasons. Their nuclear winter would be milder, they have a lot of livestock that would not be as...
I'm going to fucking Australia, bruh. I don't know how they speak out there, but do they like black people? Can black people migrate over there? I don't know. I had never been. They probably ain't rocking with black people, but in this case, we're gonna need y'all to lock it in, man. Accept all the people that come there, because who knows what these powerhouses are gonna do? We don't even know. We don't control this shit. We just like sit in targets.
Affected as crops, so they would probably stop exporting food and focus on keeping their own people alive, assuming they aren't invaded for their food by other starving nations. It's safe to say that the world would become extremely unpleasant for a long time, and it's impossible to know how many people would have died when the nuclear winter ends. In the worst case, human civilization could collapse and the survivors would be thrown back thousands of years, slowly trying to recover a world full of scars and graves. Eventually, when they've rebuilt civilization, would they ever build nuclear weapons again?
Yeah. Some dumbass somewhere is gonna build a bugging nuke regardless. You can't stop them from building nukes. Like some dickhead's gonna be like, yeah, just let's try this again. Like,
We know for sure that we need to do anything we can to make sure nuclear war never happens. This video was supported by Open.
Come on, we don't care about philanthropy, man. When we talk about nukes, we could be out here dying. World War III might be among us. So y'all go find y'all countries, get your tickets to Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, I think he said. Get your goddamn tickets, man. Go south, far, far south of anything that got nuclear bombs. So all the like powerhouses are north. So go south. And your ass might and just might survive. Like that shit ain't even guaranteed. But you might. So Iran, Israel, you gotta relax, bro. You gotta put the missiles down, bro. Like, I don't even know how to tell people to have peace after they done bombed your shit. But please, we don't want a world war. And I ain't built for that shit. And definitely America, all these fat ass people ain't built for that. They ain't built for no cardio, getting out there defending their country. These niggas know about apps and eating and apps. That's it. So hopefully y'all can lock it in, man, and save the world.